The church was brimming with sunlight that day, the air heavy with flowers and whispers of congratulations. I adjusted my tie nervously, pretending calm while my heart raced.
Hey guys, before we dive into today's family revenge story, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. And I'm curious, where are you watching from right now? Comment your country and current time below. Alright, let's begin. This is the story of a family pushed to the edge, and what happened next will shock you.
My name is Caleb, 36, a small-town accountant with nothing remarkable about my life until betrayal struck closer than ever before. She, my daughter, Lila, walked down the aisle in a swirl of ivory lace, radiant and untouchable. But as she passed, her eyes met mine, and she slipped a folded piece of paper into my hand. No words, no glance, just a subtle brush that sent a chill down my spine. I unfolded it cautiously, expecting a sweet note about how much she loved me. Instead, I read words that shattered every fiber of my trust. Dad, I can't marry him. He only wants the money. I've told him everything he wants to know, and I need you to stop him before it's too late. My chest tightened. Stop him? That note wasn't just a plea. It was a warning, a trap, and proof of a secret world I'd never known. My wife, Janet, had been silent, smiling, glowing, complicit in every family gathering where she subtly undermined me. My closest friend and business partner, Derek, had been cozying up to my finances for years, and now I realized the wedding, the biggest milestone, was a stage for their deceit. The groom, Ethan, grinned obliviously at Lila. He didn't know, but he was part of a network that had been siphoning me dry for years, using my family against me. Betrayal wasn't distant. It was here, wrapped in lace and lies. I clenched the note, feeling the weight of humiliation settle. I had always been the reliable one, the rational one, the quiet man in the corner. But now, everyone who claimed love for me had weaponized my life against me, and I made a silent vow that day. I would not just survive this betrayal, I would make it unforgettable. I left the church under the guise of preparing a father-daughter dance speech, but instead I retreated to my office, a quiet sanctuary where I could think. My life had been a series of predictable routines, but now chaos demanded precision. First, I analyzed the battlefield. Janet, my wife, had controlled the social narrative of our town. She had to believe I would never fight back. That arrogance would be her undoing. Ethan, the groom, was shallow, greedy, and utterly dependent on appearances. He trusted in his cleverness, which made him blind to subtle manipulations. Derek, the silent parasite, was obsessed with numbers and control. If I could disrupt the financial network he had built, he would crumble. I began with information warfare. Every financial move they made, every suspicious transaction, I meticulously documented. I hired a private investigator under the pretense of ensuring wedding safety to gather personal incriminating evidence against Ethan and Janet. Simultaneously, I rebuilt my public image in town. Quietly, I donated to charities, attended events, and appeared vulnerable and devastated, showing everyone the broken man. The irony? While they laughed at my supposed weakness, I was constructing the trap they couldn't see. At night, I trained myself to control my emotions, turning humiliation into fuel. The note from Lila had ignited a fire, a realization that power could be reclaimed, not with brute force, but with precision. My revenge would be slow, psychological, and absolute. By the end of the month, my plan was clear. Expose the betrayal, dismantle their social and financial lives, and emerge untouchable, leaving them humiliated beyond repair. The first strike came during the post-wedding reception. Everyone assumed I was emotionally shattered, nursing a broken heart. Instead, I delivered a speech, a seemingly heartfelt, trembling tribute to Lila and Ethan. As I spoke, I subtly hinted at secrets hidden behind smiles and truths only family knows. Gasps flickered through the crowd, though no one yet connected the dots. Then came Derek. A friendly business dinner turned into a trap. I presented financial projections showing that a critical investment he boasted about was fundamentally flawed, highlighting months of mismanagement. Publicly, it looked like I was merely concerned, but the town's investors began pulling out. Derek's confidence cracked, his reputation crumbling under my quiet exposure. Next, Janet. I leaked emails and messages to the local newspaper, a collection of her manipulations, social sabotage, and lies about my parenting to boost her social standing. Within days, friends and neighbors who had once adored her whispered doubts. Her carefully curated image dissolved, leaving her isolated. The final act was Ethan, the groom. During a follow-up dinner that was meant to celebrate my composure, I casually revealed that Leela had confided the truth to me on her wedding day. Ethan laughed at first, but I showed the note, photographs, and recordings I had gathered. Suddenly, the groom's world collapsed. Trust evaporated, alliances fractured, and every smirk he had relied on turned to fear. By the end, all three of them faced humiliation in different forms. Derek's career was jeopardized, Janet's reputation annihilated, and Ethan exposed as a fraud, greedy and cruel. The town watched, riveted. I had transformed from the passive, underestimated man into someone unstoppable, a force of calculated justice. Months later, I stood outside Leela's new apartment, reflecting on what had transpired. The dust had settled. I had reclaimed every inch of control stolen from me, and the lesson was clear. Betrayal is a weapon, but intelligence and patience are sharper. Janet had left town, humiliated, her attempts to salvage appearances failing miserably. Derek had to sell his business at a loss, his arrogance replaced with desperation. Ethan, once confident, smug, and untouchable, was forced to apologize publicly to Leela and me, his pride shattered beyond repair. Leela, tearful yet proud, hugged me. "You saved me," she whispered. In truth, I had saved myself, reclaiming honor, power, and dignity. The note she had passed me on that fateful day had been the spark, but I had forged the fire. I wasn't the same man anymore. I had been tested, humiliated, and betrayed, but I had emerged smarter, stronger, and far more dangerous. Every smile from them now carried weight, every whisper a reminder of my patience and cunning. And yet the true victory wasn't just punishment. It was the knowledge that I had outsmarted them completely, leaving them to confront the consequences of their greed and deceit. As I walked away, sunlight glinting off the city streets, I knew they would never underestimate me again. They had been cruel, arrogant, and confident in my perceived weakness, but I had turned every assumption into a weapon. Revenge was not an eruption, it was a symphony, and the final note, deafeningly humiliating, unforgettable, and entirely mine.